Hello everyone. So today I want to show you what will be available at your stations, and I thought today we could do a winter theme since we have this big snowstorm coming through right now. So what you'll find today at your stations, you'll have a drawing table and a texture plate table, a collage table, and then some special painting tables as well. So today I'm deciding to make a winter landscape, maybe even with a snowman on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by going to my texture plate table. Now you can go to that station if you want, or you could just skip it. I'm actually going to turn my paper this way, horizontally, because that is the way to have your paper for a landscape. I'm going to start off by going to the table that has the white chalk at it. I'm going to lay it on its side just like that. I'm going to press it down, and I might make some snowy hills on it. I'll do another row, and another, and another, and another. Now what I can do is I can take my texture plate, and I want it to be kind of like wintry, stormy out. Now your chalk smears a little bit, so I could take my fingers and kind of just smear that snow-covered ground right there. I'm pressing down on my chalk again, and it's making that texture plate show up. And I like this shape because it looked like the swirls of a snowstorm. And I can move my paper over. I can do it again. And I can keep doing it. I'm not sure if I like how it's layered there. That's okay. Okay, I'll take my crayon again, and I'm just going to press a little bit harder on those lines. Alright, I kind of like that. So I could keep it like this if I wanted to and just trade it in for another paper. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to go to the collage studio that has the tissue paper at it. So at that station you'll have a box that looks like this. This is where all the tissue paper will be, and this is where it will stay when you're not using it. Now make sure that you clean up at your first station before you move to another one. So I put my chalk back in the bin. Now I can move to the tissue paper station. So I will have that at my table. I've got to put my texture plate back as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan on making a snowman using tissue paper. Now you could do this at your collage studio with the regular paper as well. I just thought tissue paper might be a fun option. So you'll have maybe some strips like this, or there might be some individual shapes like that. So I'm going to just cut up maybe a couple of those white shapes. I might even have a little bit of pink in there to mix with it, or maybe even some purple might look kind of cool. I'll just cut up a couple little shapes. I'll put the scraps back in the bin. Now I'm going to open my glue bottle, so it should be like this, where you see the white top. I'm going to twist it so the white top disappears, and there's a space right there. Now I'm going to figure out where to put my snowman. Now since I wasn't a big fan of what happened right there with the layering, I'm just going to cover it up with my snowman. So I'm going to start by doing a dot, lay down some tissue paper. Do another dot, and lay down some tissue paper. And keep doing that, layering it. Now it might not be a perfect snowball shape like a snowman is, but that's okay. Or maybe it's just a big snowball rolling down a hill. Or I could even cut it into circle shapes by cutting the corners off. Keep cutting the corners off. Or I could twist my tissue paper like that, and then I would have my circles. I'm going to do a dot on my paper and then press down. Now the white's not showing up super duper well, is it? So maybe I would layer it with some darker colors. Maybe some more pinks or purples would make it add a little bit more. And then I could find a black piece of tissue paper. I could just cut out some simple shapes for the eyes. Do a dot. That will also make my white stand out a little bit more, I think. There's my eyes. I can find an orange for a carrot nose. Cut out a triangle. Looks like he's wearing sunglasses almost. Oops. Put a dot where I want his nose to go. And there. There's my really cool my snowman with some sunglasses on. Now, what I could do is I could go to the one of the special paint tables. So there's two special paint tables. There's one with black paint that has old paintbrush sticks and some cardboard. Or there is a table for white paint with sponges and Q-tips at it. Make sure your supplies stay at your table. Now what I'm going to do, I can go to the black painting table first. I could dip the end of an old paintbrush. Basically it's just a stick, there's no bristles on it, so I can use that. And I could paint on, drag the paint. I can make his stick arms doing it that way. Or I could take a piece of cardboard, dunk it in the black paint, and I could do something like that to make his stick arms. I could also use the end of my paintbrush to make his buttons on his chest and belly, like that. I could also outline him if I wanted to make him show up a little bit more. So I could paint right over my snowman. Takes a while to keep dunking it. Oops. I could also add his mouth with those dots. Or I could even make a winter tree by dunking the long end in the paint. Maybe I want to put a winter tree over here. So I'm going to dunk it. I'm going to start off by making a certain letter. What letter is that? A Y, right? So now I'm going to start with my Y, and then I'm going to use the short end of my cardboard. And I can start adding the branches. Keep dunking it. Now the trick for trees is always thinking of the letter Y. And that's going to make your branches look pretty realistic. And it's going to look like a real tree. There. I like that tree. Now what I can do is I can go to the white painting table, and then I can take my Q-tips or my sponges. I'm just going to gently dunk my sponge in the paint. I might even tap it a little bit so there's not as much paint on it. I could make big snowflakes going around. You could also use this to maybe paint a snowman first instead of the tissue paper. You could use this to paint another snowman, or make it look like a blizzard outside. I go like that, make a big snow ball right there. Use that one, and then do one on top. And then I could go to my black painting table and do the dots. I could also use the Q-tips to make tiny snowballs, or snowflakes coming from the ground. Just like that. So there's a couple examples of how you can use the materials today. But maybe I just want to make a snowflake or something. So maybe I could just do this, and I could get my sponge. Maybe I'll start off with one big dot in the middle. I'll lay my sponge to the side. And then I can grab a Q-tip. And I can drag the paint along. So I can make a design using my Q-tips. It takes a lot of dunking and reloading up your Q-tip. You could also add little dots on the ends, like that. What I could do, though, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to make just a big circle in my paper. And then what I'm going to do, maybe I'll make a spiral shape, like a winter windstorm. And then I can take my Q-tip and I can draw right on top of the paint. And it scratches the paint away. And maybe I can make my snowflake design that way. There. So those are a couple examples of what you can do at your winter stations today.